The most important trophy in sports was stolen. Not lost, not misplaced. Stolen. And the person who found it? A dog. Not a detective. Not Interpol. Not a FIFA official with a briefcase full of contingency plans. A dog named Pickles, walking with his owner in a South London street. This is the story of how the World Cup trophy disappeared, how a dog became an international hero, and how FIFA spent decades trying to forget that the most valuable prize in football was recovered by a pet. Before we get to the dog, you need to understand what was stolen. The Jules Rimet trophy was not just any cup. It was the original World Cup trophy, named after the FIFA president who created the tournament. Made of gold-plated sterling silver standing 35 centimeters tall, depicting the Greek goddess of victory holding a vessel above her head. It weighed nearly 4 kilograms. It had survived World War II hidden in a shoebox under a bed in Italy. It had been touched by Pelé, by Maradona's Hand of God predecessors, by every World Cup winner since 1930. And in 1966, 3 months before the England World Cup, it was sitting in a public exhibition in Westminster, London, protected by absolutely nothing that would stop a determined thief. March 20th, 1966. The trophy is on display at the Methodist Central Hall in Westminster as part of a stamp exhibition. The security? One elderly security guard. No cameras, no alarms. No bulletproof case, just a man in a uniform and a trophy sitting on a table. At 11 a.m., the guard notices something strange. The trophy is gone. Not smashed, not knocked over, gone. The display case is empty. The thief simply walked in, took the trophy, and walked out. No one saw anything. No one heard anything. The most valuable trophy in sports vanished in broad daylight. FIFA panicked. The English Football Association panicked. Scotland Yard was called. A nationwide search began. The trophy was insured for £30,000, about £600,000 today, but the FA didn't care about the money. They cared about the embarrassment. The World Cup was 3 months away. The host nation had lost the trophy. Newspapers ran headlines calling it a national disgrace. Scotland Yard received hundreds of tips, all of them useless. The FA even received a ransom note demanding £15,000. They paid nothing. The trophy was gone. And then a dog named Pickles went for a walk. David Corbett was a 26-year-old dock worker living in South London. On March 27th, 1 week after the theft, he was walking his dog, a black and white collie mix named Pickles, near his home. Pickles started sniffing around a garden hedge under a parked car. He pulled out a package wrapped in newspaper. Corbett unwrapped it. Inside was the Jules Rimet trophy. Not a replica, not a prop. The actual World Cup trophy. Corbett took it to the nearest police station. Pickles became an instant celebrity. Pickles was invited to the World Cup final celebration dinner. He appeared on television. He was given a year's supply of dog food. He starred in a movie called The Spy Who Stole the Trophy. He became the most famous dog in Britain. David Corbett received a £6,000 reward, about £120,000 today, and used it to buy a house. The trophy was restored in time for the 1966 World Cup, which England won. Pickles watched the final from the stands. The dog who found the World Cup trophy saw England lift it. You cannot write this. Here is where the story gets darker. The thief was never caught. Scotland Yard suspected a man named Edward Betchley, a small-time criminal with connections to the stamp exhibition. He was questioned, released, and died in 1975 without ever being charged. The trophy itself, it was stolen again in 1983 in Brazil, and this time it was never recovered. Melted down, most likely. The original Jules Rimet trophy, the one Pickles found, no longer exists. The trophy lifted today at World Cup finals is a replica made in 1974. The real one was destroyed for scrap metal. The dog found it. The criminals melted it. Pickles died in 1967, 1 year after his moment of glory. He choked on his leash while chasing a cat. The dog who saved the World Cup died chasing a cat. There is a plaque in his memory at the cemetery in Kent, but most fans have never heard of him. FIFA does not officially commemorate Pickles. The organization prefers to forget that the most important trophy in its history was recovered by a dog. But the story survives. Because it is true. Because it is absurd. And because it reminds us that sports history is not made only by legends on the pitch. Sometimes it is made by a dog who needed to pee. The World Cup trophy was found by a dog. The thief got away. The trophy was melted. And FIFA would rather you didn't know. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. Next week, I will tell you about the World Cup match that never happened and why FIFA buried it. You're welcome.